What is going on, everybody? I am Rob Westerman III, and thank you for tuning in to the Rob Westerman Show. You can find me all over the social sphere at GBP Daily. Shoot me a follow, subscribe to the YouTube channel, hit me up in the DMs. I am always available to talk Packers anytime, any day. Today is Monday, August 11th. Happy Monday, everybody. Hope you guys had a great weekend outside of the disaster of a game that we all had to watch on Saturday. Of course, quite a few things to dive into, and I am positive that you guys will have some reasonable and not overreacting comments for me to converse with here shortly. As always, thank you for joining me. I'm live every weekday and game day talking with you. So if you have not already, please subscribe to the YouTube channel. I would greatly, greatly appreciate that. Saturday night, the Packers hosted the New York Jets for preseason game number 1, and it did not go very well on just about all fronts. Right away to start the game, the Packers kick return unit committed a penalty, holding penalty. The special teams penalties, I've been sick of them for years. They happen almost every game, and I don't know what it is with our unit that seems to always get called for penalties, but I think fair catching it, never returning kickoffs would be a net positive overall every single time. No chance for penalties, no chances for turnovers. Just fair catch the dang thing and start the ball off where they give it to you automatically. Just fair catch it every time and avoid the mess altogether, because that's exactly what it seems to be about half the time. Following that, the first team offense did next to nothing. Jordan did look solid out there, but he had no help from his receivers. Kind of the story of last season. Outside of Matthew Golden catching about a 7-yard pass that did go for a first down, that was the only completion for Jordan, as he ended up going 1 for 5 during his time. Romeo Doubs with a drop, and some will say 2 drops. I will say that second catch, he had it, and then Sauce Gardner, I believe, who was guarding him, punched it out. Our other top guys, Dontavian Wicks did not play. Jaden Reed didn't play, and he was actually seen walking around with a boot on before the game, so that's not good. Christian Watson obviously won't be playing until later this season. Savion Williams did not play. So a lot of questions to be answered by this group as we roll on here in the preseason. A bright spot, though, during the game on Saturday night, Jordan Morgan, our first-round pick from last year, he logged 36 total snaps at left tackle, and he did not allow any pressures. So good start for Morgan with Rasheed Walker being out. A guy who's been talked about quite a bit since we drafted him last year in the first round. A lot of people calling him a bust, whatever. But he had a shoulder injury last year that kept him out for quite a while. And, yeah, getting some reps at left tackle, and it looked pretty good out there on Saturday night. So rooting for him to find a little bit of success here, find a role along that offensive line. Would like to see him play a little bit more again this Saturday against the Colts. So I'll actually be in attendance for that, heading over to Indianapolis on Thursday to catch the joint practice between the Packers and the Colts, and then hitting up the Fever game Friday night. So crossing our fingers here that Caitlin Clark miraculously starts to play before then, and then Saturday afternoon rather, at noon, catching the Packers and Colts preseason game in Indianapolis. So fun weekend on tap, that is for sure. Excited to see how we can kind of bounce back from Saturday. It was pretty disheartening, uninspiring performance Saturday night against the Jets at home. The crowd even wasn't that – it was fine, but you look around every time they panned to the crowd, it didn't seem too busy. So I know the weather probably had a little bit to do with that, but we got to show out. Come on. I'm saying that as somebody who didn't even go. So let's hop into the comment section here, shall we? Appreciate you guys hopping on, as always. My man Nick Beagle in the chat. Long time no see, my man. Rookies Anthony Belton and Barron look pretty good. Trying to focus on a positive, but, man, drops are drops, preseason or not. Yeah, Nick, was thinking about that myself on Saturday night. I know we can complain about how the defense plays or the offense plays, and you can kind of fall back on the vanilla play calling, as has been the famous kind of line so far this week, talking about the Jets Packers game. But drops are drops, like you said. Uh, they're the same now as they will be in the regular season. And yeah, of course, we saw one right off the bat to Romeo Dobbs, a guy who has had a pretty good training camp, catches pretty much everything thrown his way. And then, of course, the first pass during an actual game, he drops. And then he also had, I don't know if I would call it a drop on the second one, had it in his hands, it got it punched out, didn't look good. So Jordan put it right on the money both times, and both times it was a drop. So Malik Heath also had a drop, kind of one of those famous, you heard the guy coming and he got a little scared, wanted to catch and brace the hit, and yeah, he forgot to do the first thing, which was catch the ball. So tough to see, especially after drops from our receivers last year being kind of the main topic of conversation throughout the entire season last year. And we're seeing it kind of bleed over here now. Hopefully it's just a preseason game one thing, and that'll move on the wayside as we continue here against the Colts this weekend. And then it'll just be done, hopefully. So that's kind of my hope, Nick. Thanks for hopping on. Appreciate you as always. Also, Golden, a catch and a holding call, not bad. Yeah, Golden did pretty solid in my opinion. The first catch was great. Everyone's been talking about how he has strong hands, and just what he's doing out there seems so simple, and it doesn't look very difficult, which sometimes the Packers offense, it's like pulling teeth just doing anything. So seeing him go out there and make a great catch for a first down, it's good. And drew a holding call, DPI call, whatever it was. I forget exactly which one it was, against Sauce Gardner. So, yeah, good start for Matthew Golden. My man Nate in the chat, hey, Rob, didn't see the defense attacking the ball, peanut punching. That was advertised week one of camp. Yeah, and Jeff Halfley talked about that yesterday as well. He didn't see the amount of haymakers, as he said during his presser, that he's been seeing throughout camp so far. I think they just kind of it seems like it's a new thing. They got the ball king over there on defense. The coach, I forget his name, kind of leading the way as far as putting an emphasis on punching the ball out. And I think with it being so new, maybe it kind of went by the wayside during the game. And hopefully over these next couple of weeks, they can just keep hammering it as far as forcing fumbles and peanut punching that thing out to where it can just kind of become a natural thing during the game. So they made it, from what it seems like, the number one emphasis during practice, and it hasn't quite gotten through clearly with the lack of it showing on Saturday night. So hopefully this weekend against the Colts, we will see some more haymakers being thrown. Would love to see that. So thank you, Nate, for hopping on, my man. Good seeing you. What else we got? Armin, thoughts on Jaden Reed? Well, Jaden Reed's had a pretty quiet camp overall, outside of a few good periods here and there, which isn't to say that he hasn't been good. We just haven't really seen him get a whole lot of targets during practice. But when he has gotten targets, he's done his job. So the foot injury is tough because he couldn't say whether he'd be ready or not for week one. So definitely something to monitor here over the next few weeks, as many, including myself, have him being our leading receiver this year. But if he's not ready to roll, that'll just give more opportunities for guys like Matthew Golden, Savion Williams to get some action right out the gate. So hopefully Jaden is back sooner rather than later. But yeah, we've been seeing injuries already kind of piling up here. And I know that most of them are probably precautionary, but Xavier McKinney probably going to miss the rest of camp. Jaden Reed probably going to miss the rest of camp. Nate Hobbs is going to miss the rest of camp. Dontavian Wicks, we'll see when he's able to come back. So yeah, injuries kind of piling up in some important position groups. So got to keep our eye on that, obviously, as the week rolls on here. Week 2 preseason against the Colts on Saturday at noon. We've got a joint practice with them on Thursday. And Coach did say the original plan was for the starters to play week 1 against the Jets in preseason and then do the joint practice on Thursday against the Colts and then not play on Saturday and then round it back next week against the Seattle Seahawks, do the joint practice for the starters, and then also have the starters play. So he did say that was the original plan. We'll see if that changes. Personally, since I'm going to the game on Saturday, I would like to see a little bit of action, but not sure if that'll change. I'm sure we will, and I'll be at the joint practice too, so I'll hopefully be able to see some good action there from our starters. But after Saturday night, I think they probably should play a little bit more. Clearly, they didn't play as well as they needed to. They got 1 first down and then punted, and that was it. So, yeah, we'll see. We will see. My man Nick, did you see the clip of Isaiah Simmons just running around like a chicken with his head cut off? Disappointing, especially after the hype in training camp. Nick, I did see that. That was tough to watch. I kind of had some secondhand embarrassment for him. I think if we're both on the same page here, the clip was him kind of getting spun around, and then it was Decker, the receiver or the tight end for the Jets, number 47, just kind of came wide open in the middle of the field. And, yeah, he was nowhere near the action. And you got to remember the hype that we hear from these guys during camp, especially early on. All they're worried about is covering. They don't have to tackle because they're not doing anything live. At least the first team isn't. And, yeah, all he's had to worry about is peanut punching the ball out, and that's pretty much it. Staying in his area. And I know he's a physical specimen, as everybody's been calling him, but there's a reason he's been on now, 3 different teams. The third, obviously, being with us in Green Bay, went from the Cardinals, being a top 10 pick there in 2020, and then with the Giants, and now with us. So I know he's got the physical tools, but clearly looked out of place out there on Saturday. So, yeah, tough to see that with all the hype we have been seeing about him. But come regular season with Quay Walker hopefully being healthy, I don't think we'll see him out there at least on defensive snaps a whole lot compared to what we saw him do on Saturday night. But, yeah, that play that you're referencing, Nick, tough one, and I'm sure during film on Sunday he was kind of covering his eyes a little bit. But Jeff Hafley did say, he's the first one that'll admit that he would like some plays back. So hopefully come Saturday here against the Colts, we'll see a little bit of better outing from Isaiah Simmons. Thank you, Nick. Papa Backer on Twitter. How does Musashi retain employment in Green Bay? How? Yeah, he's had a kind of a rough go at it for these last few seasons. As far as the special teams go, it seems like we have a penalty almost every kick return. The punt coverage was actually pretty decent on Saturday night. That was one of the bright spots, at least in my opinion, was Daniel Whelan still bombing punts. We know for sure he still got it. And then Christian Welch on punt coverage, just going down there, kicking butt, really. So, we'll see with Bisaccia. He's actually the assistant head coach as well. So not only is he the special teams coordinator, he's the assistant head coach. And I believe he just got a raise last year, if I remember correctly. So, King AJ, I know it's only preseason, but I think we should make a move for Samuel Jr., Asante Samuel Jr., I would assuming. Yeah, he's coming off an injury, but it could be a low-risk, high-reward type of signing. Yeah, I'm not familiar with his current situation as far as his injury. He's still unsigned, so that kind of tells you all you need to know. I don't see the Packers making any sort of signing like that unless we kind of keep getting some injuries in our room. I know a lot of people want Rasul Douglas, but I've talked about Rasul Douglas and so have a bunch of other people. Rasul last year was not good. So there's a reason he's still unsigned. The Packers traded him away when he was good. So I don't foresee them going out and bringing him back now for, after a season last year with the Bills where he did not perform very well. And if they were to sign him, he's going to come in and start. He doesn't play injuries to Keyshawn or obviously Nate Hobbs is injured. Carrington Valentine. If we have some more injury bites in that room, then that would be the only way I could see Rasul being even a thought from Brian Gutekunst. So, yeah, I don't think they'll make any moves as of right now, but we got a couple more games left, and we've already seen some injuries just through practice in one game. So we'll see if we can keep holding up here a little bit during his last couple weeks of training camp in preseason. So thank you, King AJ, for hopping in. Appreciate you as always. Phil, did you get your Indy ticks on Tick Pick? I absolutely did, Phil. You know it. Appreciate you hopping on, my man. Miss chatting with you. What else we got? Tristan, the only positive I can remember from Saturday is Christian Welch. Yeah, we just got done talking about him. He played great, especially on special teams. Right out of the gate, he covered almost 60 yards on our first punt to go down and make the tackle. So last year, if you remember, he did the same thing during preseason, played really well on special teams, played really well during his time on defense, and he still couldn't crack the 53. So hopefully for his sake, he can continue to play well and make it tough for the Packers to cut him. So a homegrown guy as well, went to Wisconsin. So would be cool to see for sure. Thank you, Tristan. What else we got going on here? Mason. Brandon McManus being rock solid makes things so much more relaxing for me as a viewer. I'm with you, Mason. Remember last year during training camp, it seemed like all we were doing was tallying the kicker battle between Anders Carlson and Greg Joseph. At least for me, that was kind of one of the main things I was doing last season before the regular season started, was just who was making the most kicks, who had a better day, who was probably going to be our guy. And, yeah, at the end of camp, we ended up cutting both of them and bringing in Braden Narveson, who wasn't any good either. So, thankfully, Brandon McManus was available. And, yeah, he's been on an absolute heater so far. The last I checked, he was 49 of 53 throughout camp. So, just been money through and through. And, yeah, it makes things a little more relaxing, right? I know Matt LaFleur said it himself the other day. He doesn't even think when Brandon McManus goes out there, compared to that one clip of him saying every time he goes out there, I pray, or something crazy like that got snippeted and obviously blown up all over social media. For Matt LaFleur to say he doesn't even think when Brandon goes out there, it's quite the turnaround, which is great. Yeah, it makes things so much easier when you score a touchdown. My least favorite thing is when you score a touchdown and then you miss the extra point. It's just like, there goes any sort of momentum that drive or score brought. And thankfully with Brandon McManus, we haven't had to worry about that. And throughout camp, yeah, he's 49 of 53 so far. And that was yesterday. So I might be one or two off, but yeah, he's been absolute money through training camp so far this year. So thank you, Mason, for hopping in. That is going to do it for me today, guys. Thanks again for tuning in. Always, always, always love talking Packers with you guys. Hit me up on social media at GBP Daily. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. I would greatly appreciate that. I will be back and at it again tomorrow. Have yourself a great, great Monday, and I'll catch you guys later. Thank you.